I would put our legislative and foreign policy accomplishments in our first 2 years against any president, with the possible exceptions of Johnson, FDR, and Lincoln. But you know, just in terms of what we've gotten done in modern history. But yeah, but when it comes to the economy, yeah, we've got a lot more work to do.
Well, lots of debate this week after CBS posted those remarks that the president made on its website. Critics and supporters alike debating whether President Obama's accomplishments really do match or surpass all but 3 former presidents. The issue came up again during yesterday's White House briefing. Listen.
There's been a lot talked about this week about the president telling CBS that if you stack up his accomplishments in the first couple of years, it's the 4th best in history. He said only Lincoln and a couple others were ahead of it.
The fact of the matter is he was making a point about the volume and substance of the legislative accomplishments and the foreign policy accomplishments in his nearly 3 years in power. He was not making an assertion of that only historians will make about the success, or, you know, this was not a comparison of success to other presidencies except in the significance and substance and size of the legislative accomplishments, whether it's healthcare reform, which was an effort that took 100 years to accomplish, or the Recovery Act, which was an enormous response to an historic economic crisis, the bailout of the automobile industry, the saving of the American automobile industry against great political opposition.
Well, we wanted to hear from 2 of our favorite analysts. Leslie Marshall is a Fox News contributor and syndicated radio talk show host. Lars Larson is a syndicated radio show host. And it's nice to see you both. Thanks very much for coming in. You know, Leslie, I think even if you're a fan of the president, you might have to think twice about the level of chutzpah, don't you?
No, no. Oh, when you're using chutzpah during Hanukkah, lovely. But the president didn't say, look, I'm the 4th best. What the president said, and we just heard him, is that he puts his legislative and foreign affair policies in the first 2 years, you know, to put that up against the records. And he does exclude FDR, Johnson, and Lincoln. But you know what? And Lars is going to fall off his chair when I say this, I know. You know what, guys? He is the only man of color ever elected to the presidency. Done. That's it.
That
he's
right
first
there.
When
Lars,
it
you
comes
buying any of this?
He's first when it comes to that.
No.
Go ahead, Lars.
Look, I can't buy any of this because here's the thing. I don't care what color he is. We're supposed to be a colorblind society. I care what he does for the country. And so far, he hasn't done much. He's passed a piece of legislation, the health care bill, that 60% of Americans hate, and it's helping to destroy the economy. He hasn't done much to fix the economy, and the economy is still in shambles, and yet so here's Leslie trying to say he's really not comparing himself to these other presidents, saying he's number 4, but he really is. Even Carney says, well, he's not exactly comparing himself except in the size and scope of his accomplishments. What in the world does that mean,
You know,
Leslie,
I think to a lot of people, this reminds them of those sort of early rounds of American Idol, where those people get up and they think that they are the next big thing and they can't even carry a tune. Why is there such a disconnect between the president's poll numbers, which are very, very low, and his opinion of his administration so far?
Narcissist.
Well, first of all, his poll numbers came up, as you know, although a little bit last week. And why is it when somebody running for president like Newt Gingrich, who has compared himself to Jefferson, Lincoln, and FDR, that's okay. But when you're a sitting president and a Democrat, you can't talk about your foreign policy accomplishments. He did not, Lars, by the way, say economic accomplishments. You heard the president. He said the economy, we have a long way to go. And by the way, there are a few people that aren't out there any longer, like Gaddafi, and by the way, Osama bin Laden, who I believe that President Barack Obama was sitting in the White House without anyone in the world knowing for 10 days, and he made that call.
Lars,
he made that call for that hit.
I think that a lot of my conservative friends should probably be thanking President Obama. He has gift-wrapped a ready-made television commercial for whoever wins the GOP nomination. I mean, the ad writes itself. You know, you have the announcer rattling off the stats on unemployment, rattling off the stats on the federal deficit, and then you cue the 60 Minutes piece.
the fourth best president in American history. You know, this guy is a joke. Nobody loves Barack Obama better than Barack Obama. He is not just the Marxist in chief, he's the narcissist in chief. He loves himself so much, he's going to save Americans $40 a week on this payroll tax cut. He goes out yesterday and spends $40 on dog treats. This guy is so tone deaf to the American public, he's a joke.
Leslie, are you surprised the president would even wade into a discussion? I mean, 60 Minutes chose to exclude it from the portion of the interview that they aired on the television program, but they did put it up on the web in their defense. But are you surprised the president would even go down this road?
I don't take it the way you guys are seeing it. This is potatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes. I mean, the president said,
Leslie.
look, I mean, they're talking about the difficult, and he admits how difficult his bid for re-election is, regardless of who's on that platform, and it looks like it's going to be Gingrich or Romney at least this stage of the game.
This.
Lars, he said that the economy has a long way to go. He is not puffing out his chest. He is saying, look, you know, there is merit in what we've done. Here is where the merit is. Here is where it isn't, and we have a long way to go on that. He didn't say I'm the fourth best.
Go ahead, Lars.
Leslie, hold on a second. When you say I'd stack my accomplishments up against anybody with the exception of X, Y, and Z, that is puffing out your chest. It is saying we've done more than every other president in American history with the exception of 3. Now, that is a direct comparison, and it's suggesting he's the fourth best president in history. He's worse than Jimmy Carter.
Leslie Marshall, Lars Larson, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas. Thanks for coming on.
And happy Hanukkah.
We'll see you, lots of you in the new year. Bye-bye.
American Idol, huh?